happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody here on YouTube or wherever you are watching this. Good evening, good morning, good day, good afternoon, depending upon what your time zone is. I'm just gonna say this. I am, for those of you all who do not know me, let me just say this before we get started. I am Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help women take their idea, right, their purpose, and build a business from it, right? So, taking the idea, imagine taking the idea that you've had, that you've been walking with, that you've been dreaming about, that you wrote down, that you've been talking about, or tussling with yourself for the past couple of years and making a decision to move forward in implementing it and having support and strategies along the way to ensure that your learning curve is much shorter than most. I am she. I am that coach to help you to take that idea off of the shelf of your mind and implement it without excuses, but with the mindset of being exceptional in your industry. Good evening. Let me just say this first and foremost before I get started. I just want to say that I'm so grateful. And I'm going to tell y'all why I'm grateful. For nothing specific, but I'm grateful for change. I'm grateful for the change in me. I'm so grateful. Even as I sit back and I look back over 24, I look back over 23, and the woman that you see before you mentally and maturity wise has progressed. And I'm so grateful. If you haven't already, make sure you share this live with about 2 or 3 people, text it out, invite them in. But I'm going to also be vulnerable and share this with you. Thank you so much. So grateful that you are joining me. I want to share this with vulnerability. And also, my goal with this channel is to help individuals who have an idea understand that you don't have to be perfect. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the greetings. Oh, from Uganda. Greetings from Uganda. Where are y'all coming in from? But I'm gonna be honest and transparent with y'all. And the reason why is a lot of times people see people, have a level of success, but they don't really understand the journey that it took to get them there. And one of the things that I identified when I started my journey in building my business is I would see people, have this level of success in their businesses, but didn't have a clue of the challenges, the hardships, the devastation, the trauma, the life changes that happened along the way, yet they continued to stay the course. And one of the things that I'm committed to in my business and in my walk is being as vulnerable as I feel comfortable, and also helping you all to understand the whole thing is that you don't have to be perfect, right? Hear from Amber. Okay, I probably will mispronounce that. Okay, so totally transparent moment. Because I know some people are here globally, so I live in Georgia, and our children are on break, so am I with them. And being home with 3 small kids and navigating through life as well as building a business can be a lot. I'll be honest. I'll say it for me. It can be a lot in a good way, but it also can be quite a bit to manage. I love our children, but it can be quite a bit to manage. And transitioning into doing what I do as an entrepreneur, it can be quite a bit. It can be quite a bit. Okay, I did read it. So Jesus Image Church Africa, I did read it. I'll just say that. So I'll say this. You can share information with me at info@drjanee.com. Okay. so you can share that information with me. So, yeah. So to be honest, can I be honest with y'all? Can I be honest? I didn't feel like coming on here tonight. I didn't feel like it. I didn't. I didn't feel like hitting. I didn't feel like even creating the live. I didn't feel like doing this tonight. And I'm saying this in all transparency. And I say that because again, a lot of the times you see people show up, but you don't understand the journey that it took for them to show up. You don't understand the challenges. And again, I want to share this with you all so that you don't feel like you have to be perfect. You don't feel like you always have to have it together. You don't ever have to feel like you can't get started until you as a person are perfect. One of the things that I understand that has troubled a lot of women as to why they haven't implemented their idea is one of the big things is that they are still overcoming something. So who are they to be the one to step up and help somebody else? But one of the things that I understand from a mentor of mine, she told me, she said that you only have to be a step ahead of somebody else. What does that mean? No, you don't. And here's the thing, God loves us so much. We don't have to have it together. Right? But we have to be willing vessels. When I think about, and yes, I share things and I'm probably all over the place, but y'all just go with me. When I think about, and this is why reading the Bible is everything, right? Reading the Bible is everything. And whenever I feel a certain way, I have to go back to what the scripture says. So I think about Moses, right? And this is not even what I was going to talk about. Hold on. Aiden. To the person who feels like you have to have it all together. So when I think about in the Old Testament, when Moses basically is the chosen one. God is telling him, look, you are the one who I have called to get these people from being captive into liberty, right? And Moses comes up with every excuse as to why he isn't good enough. How many of you all haven't felt good enough to implement your idea? Put a 1 in the comments if at some point you just did not feel good enough, right? And he's coming up with every excuse as to why he's not good enough, And for every reason, God gives him a solution. For every excuse Moses has, he gives him a solution. And what that tells me is that one thing about God, he's not calling us to be perfect. He's calling us to be submissive and vulnerable to to accept the call that he has placed on our lives. Moses didn't feel qualified. Moses felt like his speech wasn't perfect. And then God gave him Joshua, someone to communicate on his behalf. Right? Yeah, it was Joshua. If I got that wrong, forgive me. Right? So he gave him Joshua. So every excuse Moses had as to why he didn't feel qualified, God said, here's your solution. So for the person and the people, for those of you all who don't feel qualified for the call, go back to the scripture. Even if we look at Jeremiah, which is one of my favorites, right? In Jeremiah chapter 1, God is literally telling Jeremiah, I called you to be the prophet, to be my mouthpiece, to tell these people what I said. Jeremiah is like, look, he's saying to himself that he's nothing but a boy. So he minimized himself before the very one who created him. God then turns back around and gives him a solution for that. He then shares with him why he's qualified. He said, look, before I formed you in the womb of your mother's belly, this is who I called and created you to be. So even before the self-doubt, the lack of confidence kicked in, I called you to be a prophet. That's who I created you to be. Your call may not be to be a prophet of God, right? But there is a call and a purpose on your life. And I want you to understand, just as Jeremiah did not feel qualified, understand that God has qualified you. So leading into my topic on tonight I want to share with you all, we're going into 2025 in about 2 days, in less than 48 hours. And of course, many people have heard, oh, well, these are my goals for 25. And everybody has their 2025 goals slated out. I want to speak to those of you all who haven't even completed the goals that you had set for 24 or 23 or 22 or 2021, right? We got less than 48 hours. When it comes down to your purpose, whether it's your purpose or your personal goals, I want you tonight, we're going to talk about, I want you to start now, right? Here's the thing. The past couple of years, you set goals, and I'm speaking to the individuals who have set goals and have yet to implement them or complete them. You had the idea on the shelf of your mind, and you haven't done anything with it yet. I want to encourage you on tonight, and I want more than anything. My prayer is to ensure that you move forward. So why start now? Dr. JaNee, we only have 48 hours left. Why can't I just wait until 2025? Well, here's the thing. It's 24, and you have yet to complete many of the goals that you set for this year. Why go into a whole nother year having not completed anything that you said that you wanted to do? That's a personal character issue. You set a goal, but you have yet to do it. I'll even use myself as an example. One of my dear friends has been encouraging me to read the story about David. Now, I've heard of David, knew who David was in the Bible. We know he was the king. We know that, David, many of us know that David was the one who slayed the Philistine, the giant. He was the one who, took the slingshot and killed the giant. Very familiar with the story. A lot of us are, right? But she challenged me. She was like, and this is more on the spiritual and personal side. So she was like, you got to read about David. I was like, okay, because sometimes I get emotional. And I already know from here, word of mouth, what people have said David has done. And I was like, no, I ain't ready to read about David. But I said, I'm going to read about David before the end of this year, right? So, y'all, this is what, December 24th, I started reading about David this month. Why? Because I made a commitment that that's what I was going to do. I said that I told her that I was going to read about David before the year was out. Another one, having something to do with food. So my sister had started making sourdough bread. And one of the things that I said I wanted to start doing was kind of eating, a little bit more clean from the standpoint. And this has nothing to do with business, but has everything to do with commitment and being a person of character and keeping your word with yourself. So I said, you know what? I'm going to prepare myself to make some bread. So I decided I was going to start from the beginning with making sourdough bread. No, this has nothing to do with business, but stay along with me. So today is December. What is today? December. I had the date all jacked up, y'all. Today is December 30th. And guess what? Yesterday, I started my sourdough starter. Why? Because I made a commitment to myself and I said that this is what I was going to do. One of the things that I've learned about myself is that I made commitments, and this is who I was in the past. I made commitments and I did not keep them to myself, right? And what they did over the years, it reduced my ability to believe that I would actually accomplish a thing because I would give up before I actually did a thing. And I want to encourage you all. This is why I said, whatever your idea is, you got to start now. If you have started writing a book, it's time to get the book started again, right? If you have an idea for a book, if you've been saying that you're going to write a book, it's time to start writing now. If you said that you were going to if you were going to create hair products, it's time to start creating now. Why? Because you don't want to leave 2024 with the mindset of saying that this is what I'm going to do and not fully committing and implementing and committing to what you said that you were going to do. Because you're showing yourself that you can't trust yourself. And for those of you all who lack confidence, this is the reason why your confidence is infected. Because when you look at the word confidence, it means to trust. Confidence also means surety. So when you look at the word confidence, right? Self-confidence. It means to be sure in yourself. It means to trust yourself. So here's the thing. If you said that this is what you were going to do, if you said you were going to start the business, if you said you were going to write the book and you haven't done it, guess what? You have reduced the ability of you to be able to trust the words that come out of your own mouth. I'm not telling you anything that I don't know. This is what I did. So before 25 gets here, I want you to identify, and one thing about me as a coach, I know simplicity is everything. Because I heard the saying, and it's true, a confused mind does nothing. I want you to identify one. What is it? What is your purpose that you know you should be implementing before the end of this year? And identify the one thing. Because here's the thing, you have to increase your confidence in yourself, which means that you have to increase the surety and the trust that you can do it. The only way that you're going to know that is when you fully commit to the thing that you said that you were going to do. And you have to do it now. You delayed enough. You said it long enough that this is what I'm going to do. Now it's time to do it. So let me help you. Identify what your purpose is. Identify what your business is. Identify the idea that you had for the past 5 years. Well, Dr. JaNee, I have all of these ideas. What is the idea that consistently comes to you? What is the very thing that's always top of mind? What is the thing that you can do easy with your eyes closed? Implement that very thing. The second thing is this. What is the simplest thing that you can do to get started? If you are the one who started and stopped, what is the simplest thing to get restarted? So let me help you. I remember for those of you all who are authors, I wrote a book in 2014 called 40 Days to a Better You. The link is in the description if you would like more details, right? And I wrote the book at a time when I had first had our son who's making all of that noise, okay? And he was an infant. I was a first-time mom, and I was adjusting. So you can understand how life would be. My husband and I were just picking ourselves back up financially, and I was just like really trying to figure it out, right? So I started writing the book, and I committed to writing 15 minutes every single day. I don't remember ever stopping, but for those of you all who have stopped in the middle of writing your book, go back to the book. Identify what the topic of the book was. I'm sure from the time that you stopped and until now, you have grown. So there are some strategies that you can add to the book that need to be added that wouldn't have been added at that time had you moved forward with it. Simple. Identify the simplest thing that you can implement. Don't overthink it. I find and I know that many people do not move forward with their ideas because they're overthinking it. Every idea, I have an iPhone. The iPhone was an idea. YouTube was just an idea. Facebook was just an idea. These earrings were an idea. This shirt was an idea. Everything started out with a thought. I just had a thought. Let me make sure I verify this before I go to talking. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So even when I think about everybody, I was just going to refer to a scripture, but I got to study a little bit more. But everybody has an idea. Everything, every restaurant, every road, every store, it all started out with an idea. Here is the thing. The only difference between these people who started social media, who started Facebook, who started all of purses and bags and restaurants is that they took action. And they took action consistently enough that you see what you see today. And guess what? They're continuing to take action. My encouragement and push to you is to find the simplest thing to get started. Whatever your industry is. And how do you find out the simplest thing? Ask the question. What is the easiest thing for me to do right now to get started? If it's to start a podcast, okay, you got several podcast platforms. You got Apple, what is that? Apple iTunes, you have Spotify, you have all of these different things. You can use YouTube. Just start. One of the thing and the other thing I realized is this, and I'm going to go on to the second thing. Don't overthink it. The moment you overthink it is the moment that you think yourself out of it, right? So, one, you want to get started before you go into the new year because it builds momentum. It shows you that, guess what? I can do this. I said that this is what I was going to do, and I started. So, go ahead and get started to build your momentum and move forward. Number two, as I said, choose the simplest option to get started. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. If it's to write a book, start out with the notes section in your phone, right? Identify what you want to talk about, what is the message that you want to send, and the solution that you provide. Of every business or idea is a solution for a problem. I want you to always think of that. Every idea is a solution for a problem that exists. I don't care if you have an idea for a hamburger, a store, some clothes, it's a solution for a problem that people have. That's it. Identify what problem you are solving, and then identify the solution to the problem and get started. Lastly, number three is identify what resources do you have available to you that makes it easy to get started. So if we go back to the podcast idea, right? Let's say you want to start a podcast, right? Okay, so the simplest thing is you can do several things. You can identify what message you want to send with your podcast and who is it catered to. So just as an example, it can be a podcast catered to first-time moms. I'm just throwing that out there, right? And your platform is to provide strategies to make life simple for the first-time mom. And that can actually be the title or the topic of your podcast, right? Okay. So what is the simplest thing? You identify the title. Okay, the next thing would be to start or choose the platform or platforms. Here's the thing. Do not overthink it. Start out with one platform. That platform can be Spotify, as I said. That platform could be Apple iTunes. Don't overthink it. Go on Google and just Google podcast platforms. Oh, Dr. JaNee, well, this is my situation financially. YouTube is free. Make it a video podcast. Do not overthink it. You've done that long enough. It's time to move into action mode. And pause for a commercial. On Thursday, I am hosting the Mindset to Movement Masterclass for women who are ready to take that idea off of the shelf of their mind and implement it without excuses and do full on execution. So for more information, click the link below and register for the class. Only thing it costs is your time, right? So what resources do you have available to you? One of the great things about 2024 is that we have so many resources available to us that there's no reason and no excuse why you can't take action. Before social media, people had to pay thousands of dollars for advertisement through commercials, through posters. Not posters, but billboards. You got social media. Your advertising is in your pocket. People would have to go door to door. Now all you have to do is push live on the phone. There's no reason why you can't get started. So I just want to encourage you all on tonight. Don't wait. Start now. Go into 2025 with momentum and surety, confidence in yourself that guess what? I can and I will do this. Don't wait. Start now. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all next time. And remember to know your worth. Good night, y'all. Bye.